This week on Newsnight, we bring you an update on the coronavirus in Pennsylvania and how it's affecting Point Park students abroad. The stock market plunged this morning after more coronavirus cases have been reported and an oil war in the Middle East. And voting continues tomorrow in the Democratic presidential primary election. All that and more coming up on Newsnight. Good evening, I'm Nick Tommarello. We begin tonight with an update of the coronavirus. As of 4 p.m. today, the Pennsylvania Department of Health has confirmed 10 presumptive positive cases of COVID-19. All cases are in eastern counties and people have been isolated to their homes. The city of Pittsburgh has been preparing for a possible outbreak in the area, saying that first responders have been trained to identify possible cases and how to provide medical care or isolate patients if necessary. Point Park University hasn't recalled any students abroad back to the United States, leaving the decision up to them. Dean of Students Keith Palos said in an email sent to the student body last week that any student who traveled internationally should contact him via email. And the stock market took a plunge today, dropping more than 2,000 points due to the spread of the coronavirus and an oil price war between Russia and Saudi Arabia. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped a total of 7.79%, ending the day at 23,851 points, representing the single worst day since the 2008 recession. The Standard & Poor's 500 also dropped more than 7%. This triggered a market-wide circuit breaker, completely stopping trading for 15 minutes. According to the New York Stock Exchange, a circuit breaker can halt trading temporarily or, under extreme circumstances, close the markets before the normal close of this trading session. Now, they occurred during a severe market decline as measured by a single-day decrease in the S&P 500 index. Stocks rose more than 300 points after President Trump talked about a potential payroll tax cut or relief. And scientists say the Great Barrier Reef near Australia is experiencing crucial periods of heat over the next few weeks. These extreme temperatures are following intense coral bleaching from the last few weeks. The high temperatures will affect how the coral reef can recover from the bleaching. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, coral bleaching occurs when water temperatures are too warm and coral expel the algae living in their tissues, turning them completely white. The coming weeks of heat will be crucial to whether the coral will recover from past bleaching or the bleaching will continue to get worse. And are you feeling the luck of the Irish yet? Pittsburgh's annual St. Patrick's Day Parade will kick off at 10 a.m. Saturday. According to the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, over 23,000 participants are expected, including 22 marching units, floats, and other groups representing Irish and other ethnic heritage organizations. Pittsburgh's St. Patrick's Day Parade is one of the oldest and longest parades in the nation. Students can get a free breakfast Saturday from 8 to 11 a.m. in Lawrence Hall lobby, presented by the Campus Activities Board. Well, coming up after the break, an update on Pittsburgh's air quality and your weekly forecast. We'll be right back.
All right, go.
Go to our new website, uview.pointpark.edu.
Go, 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 go.
And find your herd.
Be like, join EOP. And 3, 2, join EOP.
I was just saying, grab them now, or else I can listen.
Yeah.
Join On Point with Politics.
3, 2, 1.
Join Pioneer Sideline.
Loneliest number that you'll ever do.
Welcome back. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 25 million Americans were diagnosed with asthma, with thousands of cases emerging from the Pittsburgh area alone. In response to this issue, Allegheny County Health Department's PR officer, Ryan Scarpino, says that although, quote, our focus right now is on COVID-19, improving air quality continues to be a high priority, end quote, in reference to the department's long lists of tasks. According to Scarpino, the Allegheny County Health Department currently has a specialty program dedicated to monitoring air quality with one of the densest networks in the nation. Temperatures are beginning to rise, but we'll see a couple of rainy days this week. Zoe Angelucci joins us for this week's forecast.
Thanks, Nick. This week we can expect higher temperatures with some rain throughout the week. On Tuesday, we can expect some rain with a high of 57 and a low of 34. Wednesday, it dries up a bit with a high of 52 and a low of 40. Thursday and Friday, we're seeing more rain with a high of 65 and a low of 55 on Thursday, and a high of 57 and a low of 31 on Friday. For the weekend, we're going to see some sun with no rain. A high of 47 and a low of 33 on Saturday, a high of 50 and a low of 37 on Sunday, and then Monday we're looking at some clouds with a high of 53 and a low of 42. That's your weather for this week. I'm Zoe Angelucci.
Stay tuned after the break, an update on the Democratic primary election, and President Trump officially appoints a new chief of staff. Stay with us.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family. Openness.
Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
2-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tommarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
Last Tuesday was Super Tuesday for the 2020 presidential primaries. This year, there were more than 1,300 delegates up for grabs by the Democratic candidates. At the time of the primaries, there were still 5 candidates: Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Mike Bloomberg, Elizabeth Warren, and Tulsi Gabbard. Of the 14 states, Joe Biden won 10, amounting to 613 delegates. Bernie Sanders won the other 4 and gained 515 delegates. Through the last week, 2 candidates have also dropped out of the presidential race. Elizabeth Warren and Mike Bloomberg ended their presidential campaigns after winning 59 and 63 delegates respectively on Super Tuesday. Voting continues in 6 states, including Michigan, with 125 delegates for the continuation of the Democratic primary election on Tuesday. The Pennsylvania primaries will take place Tuesday, April 28th, and the Democratic nominee will be chosen in July. And President Trump has a new chief of staff in the White House. The president tweeted over the weekend welcoming former Congressman Mark Meadows. He called his relationship with Meadows a very good one and announced that the former acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, will become the United States Special Envoy for Northern Ireland. Meadows isn't the only congressman making the news. 2 congressmen have went into isolation after discovering they came into contact with people who had contracted the virus. According to Florida Representative Matt Gaetz' Twitter, the congressman came into contact with an attendee at the Conservative Political Action Conference who tested positive for COVID-19. Representative Gates came into contact with the president at a Mar-a-Lago party and on Air Force One. Georgia Representative Doug Collins also tweeted that he came into contact with the patient who has tested positive for the virus at the conference, but hasn't experienced any symptoms. Both congressmen have quarantined themselves for safety. Now, what roller coaster has finally turned 100 years old? Find out after the break.
The United Student Government at Point Park University, working since the 1970s to solve the issues that matter to you. What concerns do you have about the university? Student life, safety, food service? Send us an email to studentconcerns@pointpark.edu or stop by our office on the 7th floor of the Student Center. You can also attend our weekly open meetings on Mondays at 3:15. Follow us on social media at USG_PPU for more. The United Student Government, by the students, for the students.
The Point Park Sports Network, bringing you live coverage of Pioneer Athletics on Stretch Internet, the home of the River States Conference and the NAIA. Subscribe today for complete access to the Point Park volleyball, baseball, basketball, and soccer teams. Watch live and on-demand broadcasts and don't miss a minute of Point Park Athletics. Head to pointparksports.com/live for broadcast listings. The Point Park Sports Network, your streaming home for Point Park Athletics.
3, 2, 1.
Please visit our website. Please, it's a nice website. Please visit our website. Please.
If you have ever watched television, whether accidentally or on purpose, YouView is for you.
And before we end tonight, in the year 1920, a coaster manufacturer and designer by the name of John Miller created the infamous Jackrabbit wooden roller coaster for Kennywood Park. The Jackrabbit is most commonly known for its 70-foot double-dip drop, where the cart hits 2 consecutive drops in one downhill motion. It is now the oldest roller coaster there, logging in 100 years of family fun. Outside of Kennywood Park, the Jackrabbit is only one of 6 roller coasters in the world to serve a century's worth of rides. Kennywood is currently having a 100 Years, 100 Memories contest, where riders new and old are encouraged to submit their Jackrabbit memories. The contest will reward 100 participants with Kennywood season passes. The participant with the most heart-wrenching story will receive a 2020 Bronze Season Pass. It is duly noted that the more the story pulls at your heartstrings, the more likely it is to win the judges over. Wow, 100 years old. Good luck to all of those of you that apply. That's your news for tonight. From all of us here at Newsnight, I'm Nick Tommarello. Thanks for watching, and good night.